EA Sports. Today's game could be full of excitement.
All right, Larry, after an off-season of questions, football is back here in the East Bay at Oakland, California. Straight ahead, we've got a good one on tap here between the Seattle Seahawks and the Oakland Raiders. Seems like we were just starting training camp, but here we are in October, and off we go on EA Sports. This is taken at the 3. And nice work on the return as they'll start their drive just past the 30-yard line. Defense feeling the encouragement. They stop him at the line of scrimmage on the first play of the afternoon. No gain on the play. It'll be second down. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll be limited to a short gain up to about the 34-yard line. Give him 3 on the play, and that'll lead here to a third down. From the shotgun, it's Prescott. And the Raiders have got him.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
Yeah, blink of an eye. That happened fast and a big sack. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. This is fielded inside the 5. Yardage and be backed up to the 24. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be second down.
Every year I go to the combine and marvel at the speeds that linebackers are running nowadays. They run like DBs. And let's face it, they know how to finish plays too. Eyes up, head up, run right through them.
Going to throw right side here, complete. And nothing but daylight ahead. And all the way in. Touchdown, Oakland. Play there. His first touchdown on the year. And the Raiders have taken the early lead. As a former DB, you might not like to see that, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts. All right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
This fielded at the 2. And that time he's smothered as he's wrestled down right on the 30-yard line. And out now come the Seahawks. And a 3 and out on that first drive. We'll see if they can do better here.
They should have a better opportunity because the nerves should be settled now. That first series, everybody goes out there, a little extra emotion. So now they get a chance to go back out and say, okay, now we're into the game. Let's go play and play as best we can.
You almost get a mulligan then on that first drive?
Sometimes it absolutely serves that way. You get a second opportunity. Nothing big happens. But then again, you didn't commit any mistakes either. Off you go.
And he's brought down after a good gain. A good pickup there of 20 yards.
Nice little nifty play for him there. Yeah, that's the ability to read a defense and utilize players that don't often get picked up in coverage easily. And I'm talking about being able to use the backside of the backfield. Because I know that when I used to cover, hey, we got everybody he just snuck out there, and they just got a nice first down there.
What do we love to say? Get those backs into space, right? And they were able to do that there. Nice pickup on first down. No gain there on the completion. 2nd and 10.
And that's when it's fun to play defense. When you're able to diagnose a play right from the beginning, get all your guys to the football, and spill the play, that's when you have a lot of fun playing on that side of the ball.
Here's Prescott. Complete. Richardson has it. And he's brought down. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
And now running right through it. And he was able to shed the tackle, but the reserves come in for the stop. It'll be a pickup of 5, and that leaves him with 5 more. 3rd and 5 now.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to him back.
To throw is Prescott. Over the middle, complete. It's Richardson. It's a 9-yard gain, and it keeps the drive moving. We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide.
Alongside my broadcast partner, Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin hits the Seahawks with a football to begin quarter number 2. They're looking at a 2nd and short yardage to start things out. Now they'll run on the draw. And he will not only not get the yard he needed, he goes the wrong direction. That'll go as a loss of 5. And just like that, it's 3rd down.
We all have habits. We can be somewhat predictable, and you know me pretty well on 2nd down and short. What I like to say.
And he's going to go down. Back at the 27-yard line, he's sacked. These strong safeties, some people may not realize it. It's really like an extra linebacker, right?
It really is because they're hybrids. Half linebacker, half defensive back. The linebacker in him on that play emerged.
Oh, they get to the football. It's blocked. It's picked up. A live ball here, remember. He's got the lane, and there he goes. And the Raiders are in for 6. Touchdown.
The defense is doing their best, but they're struggling right now. They'll look for some help from their own offense to keep them in the game.
And it's good to make it 14-0. Is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. Prescott now on 2nd down. Out left, he's got it to Everett. And he'll be brought down right at the 30 here. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be 3rd down.
I think it's okay there. They didn't get a whole lot on that play, but it's nice to have a safety valve that's built like this guy. Big target, guy you can spot pretty easily. Put it on him when your other targets aren't open.
Here's Prescott. Throw complete right side to Cooks. And he's able to get the first before he's taken down at the 36. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains.
Well, that's what you're looking for when you're wanting to throw the ball downfield. You want one of those guys who can play out on the perimeter, can play out wide, who can not only get open, but when they're covered, can uncover themselves downfield and create catches.
34 yards there and a first down.
Well, partner, I have to say they called him in the right defense there. Nickel set, fifth defensive back on the field, and they love to run against that because now you typically get a bigger blocker on a smaller defender.
Yeah, because those DBs like you, they want the interception. They're not as worried about the running play, right?
Not at all. And I still remember being in school that one of my offensive line teammates used to say, boy, I'd love to come downfield, hit you little people.
Good run there. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. We'll come back to Oakland after this. We're just 2 minutes away from sending you to Orlando for Larry Ridley and our EA Sports halftime report, so don't forget about that coming up shortly.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a halftime without him, and we thank...
And he's going to be taken down here. A sack back at the 32.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely he's been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. Working the middle here, that's complete to Everett, the tight end. And he takes it down to the 13 and picks up the first. And the play goes for 19 yards, gives him a new set of downs.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
And he'll fight his way down right around the 12. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
So if I'm an offensive coordinator, there's one thing that I know for sure. This is one of the top 5 teams in the NFL against the run. So when I look at my playlist, I'm probably thinking about throwing it.
This will be caught at about the 5. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Well, they've been practicing goal line offense all week. Let's see if they're able to capitalize here. Out of the gun. Here's Prescott. This will be caught at about the 6. Now the Seahawks call the second of their 3 timeouts, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. A second down throw for Prescott. And he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up 3rd down. This offense so far on 3rd down, they've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. They're looking at a 3rd and goal here. To the air again, Prescott. End zone caught. Touchdown, Seattle. The way this one was going, you just got the sense they needed something before half. They've at least got something on the board now. Still trailing, but a good sign.
That takes me back to our preseason tour of NFL camps. You remember we talked with that one coach who said his emphasis this year was scoring in the last 2 minutes of a half, heading into the locker room. This hits it right there. Take that momentum, take that good feeling, and take it to the locker room, regroup, and start over. They got it here.
They did indeed, and a lot of football, full half to be played. And now Oakland ready to take the field. And they had to wait a long time to get the football back. Probably not what you were hoping for when you got an offense that's humming.
Agreed. What you were looking for is the defense get the ball back pretty quickly, right? Hoping for a 3 and out. So that didn't happen. You can't yell at your D for that. They've got to take care of their own business and reestablish themselves now that they're back on the field.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense.
So that flag will cost him 15.
And it doesn't matter anymore how you get the face mask. Any part of it, that's going to be 15 yards.
And now here's a carry heading left. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, they didn't get a whole lot out of that one, but I think you got to continue to try and run and try and keep a defense honest.
Or else they'll just sit back, dare you to throw it on every down.
Yeah, you get your quarterback hit a lot that way, too.
Going for the deep ball. And that will be incomplete with the clock showing 18 seconds now to go. They're going for a receiver there. Already has one touchdown in this first half. A second one not to be.
I like where their headspace is, though. I mean, I really like the thought process, right? You got a guy who's already scored one, right? You want to go back to him, continue the hot hand, and make them adjust to you defensively. I like what they were trying to get done, even though they weren't successful.
They go play action here on first down. This will be caught inside the 10. And a nice gain of 21 yards. And that extra yardage makes this upcoming field goal attempt much more manageable.
Agreed, because when you talk to defensive coordinators, they always tell us the 35-yard line on our side of the field, that's the line we guard the most aggressively, because once they get there, they believe they're in field goal range.
Two big plays in succession. Not sure this D knows what hit him, but now they got to get ready. It's first and goal. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked off down at the 2. So we have reached... And before we can even hear from Larry, we're back and ready to go in Week 5. Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Out comes the Raiders offense. They'll go on offense first to start quarter number 3. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Now a handoff as they run left side. And he will lose yardage here back at the 23-yard line. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that's going to lead to a 3rd and 12.
It's real easy to say this running game needs to be better, but the reality is they've been given little time to actually find a place to run the football. It's almost like the defense is there on the handoff.
On 3rd down. That's Rodgers, and he will fight his way forward to about the 23-yard line. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it's going to leave him with a 4th down. Now look at this, 4th and 12, and they're going to line up to go for it. They're indeed going for it as they look to throw. And this is going to be incomplete. A surprising move to go for it predictably, at least somewhat predictably. It doesn't pay off. And the Seahawks, they'll get the football back in outstanding field position. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he'll be taken down near the 20 at the 21. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
This is what happens sometimes when you abandon the running game. It's hard to get back to it because once guys get out of that mentality of firing out and hitting people, hard to get them started again occasionally.
And now here's a carry heading left. And he will lose yardage and be backed up to the 24. They'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down. Make it now 3 tackles for a loss in this game, 1 for each quarter. And for a guy who played defense in college, I can just tell you that he's feeling very satisfied right now by what he's doing. But he's elated because he knows what he's doing is helping his team. Nowhere to turn here, and he's going to go down. Back at about the 37-yard line. The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again. And the 10-year vet knocks it through the goalpost. And they'll cut the lead back down to 4 now at 14-10. So he missed a field goal earlier, but he says not this time, and he's able to knock it through to give his guys 3.
And that's all you want as a kicker, a chance to redeem yourself. You got to have a short memory if you're going to survive at this level, and he's able to get back on track.
The Raiders offense now, they trot back out, and on that last drive, went for it on 4th, turned it over. A good job by their defense, though. They held them to 3, but this offense, they've got to be a little bit better, a little bit more careful here.
And sometimes when you see these calls on 4th down, when they decide to go for it, it's not necessarily the coach saying, I believe in my offense. Sometimes the coach saying, I believe in my defense. I can afford to go for it here, because if we don't get it, I don't think we'll give up more than 3. And that's exactly what happened.
You think that factored in?
I do. I think that he had that in his mind going into the game, that I'm going to be aggressive on offense because I know I've got a defense that can hold up their end.
Throwing on 1st down. Robertson. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. And we say it all the time, have to be able to get rid of the ball sooner than that.
You have to help your offensive line out. They're going to protect you as best they can. And if you get 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball, they're doing a really nice job. But when you hold it and give up a sack, you're really almost discrediting their work. The positioning here is key. As a defensive back, you're taught 99% of the time, make a play on the football. But in this case, making a play on the man was all the difference. That's what forced the incompletion.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Seahawk defense gets to him, and they bring him down. Well, they went with the nickel. They throw in an extra defensive back. Coverage was very good.
Yeah, it was exactly as you would expect. A passing down. You bring in the nickel package. Just as you described, the coverage was excellent and allowed one of their linemen to end up getting to the quarterback.
And how about this? 4th and long, and they're going to go for it. They'll try and throw for it here. Wide open receiver complete. And unable to break away. They stop him a few yards shy. Boy, a real head-scratcher there. And that will force a turnover on downs. So nursing a slim lead, and that is the opposite of protecting that slim lead.
All I can think here is that head coach, he knows more about what's going on with his team than we do. He must know something's up. Either he has trouble with his punter, right? He's worried about his defense. There's an explanation in there that we're going to ask for after the game, because in this situation, I wouldn't have done that in normal circumstances, but maybe he thought my best opportunity is with my offense.
Yeah, interesting. Back in their own territory. Now we'll see what transpires. Back now in the East Bay. Flag comes in. This might be a free play. Oh, no, he lost the football.
Offside. Defense.
And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. What I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
And he's going to go down again.
Brandon, I think you understand the type of afternoon this offensive line is having. It is a long one for them. Long for you to spend it with me. Long for them trying to block those guys. They've given up a whole lot of sacks, and the speed and quickness of that defensive line is eating them alive.
Second down, Prescott under pressure again, and down he goes again.
So when you have good field position to start a drive and you give up back-to-back sacks, that can be demoralizing for a team.
Play fake. Here's Prescott. He's letting it fly for Cook, and this is taken in at the 5. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. And at this stage, down in the second half, looks like they just wanted to find a way to get it in the hands of their playmaker, and they did.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think the coordinator's looking at his play sheet and trying to figure out which play will work well. He's trying to figure out how to get the ball to the playmaker that you just described. Looking down at that sheet, you find people plays, not necessarily X's and O's, and that's exactly what they did there.
Well, forget about finding a lane there. He barely had time to look up before he was planted in the backfield. Probably fortunate he was able to hold on to the football.
This is caught. 5 yards that time on the completion, and now it's 3rd and goal. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
Prescott on 3rd and goal. And did he get the feet down? No. They'll say he did not. It's incomplete.
Brandon, some of those windows to throw the football that exist when you're between the 20s, they don't exist when you're this close to the goal line. But as a former DB, I liked it closer to the goal line. Tighter windows made it easier to cover people, actually.
Now they try the right side here. And he's across the chalk into the end zone. Touchdown, Seahawks. A great effort there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Seahawks have taken the lead here in the 4th. So from 3 scores down, these guys have fought all the way back to grab the lead. And I'll just tell people what happened when they went up 3 scores. I wrote on your paper 2 words, game over, and now I'm eating those words. I was wrong.
A little salt, a little pepper, goes down pretty easily.
I will admit when I make a mistake.
Well, it looked like it was going that way. This is one of those paging Frank Reich moments, and I can't believe I just brought that up, because Frank Reich at Maryland in college did it to my Tennessee Volunteers, and that was a big reason why my team lost.
Sounds like you still harbor some pain from that game.
You know, we still got a little time to work it out with the doctor.
Now a handoff working right. He takes this from the 30 to the 34. Tough running there. That's a hard-earned 4 yards.
Yeah, those are the unsung kind of runs. They don't fill up the stat sheet, but they do set you up in good position on 2nd down.
Now a handoff as they run left side. He'll get about 4 as he's past the 35 to the 38-yard line.
Well, if the coaching staff's doing a good job upstairs, they'll file away what they just saw from the defense right there. They sold out to stop that running play. I'd say keep that in mind. They want to try that again. Go play action, hit them over the top.
This is 3rd and 2. Maybe the biggest play in this football game. They'll look to throw. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. Got to be careful here. They need to move quickly, but it's also 4th. Back to throw. And no, it's incomplete. And he'll have a tough time living that one down. It's one thing, Charles, to drop a pass. It's quite another to drop it on 4th down.
And so many teams work on that in terms of locking in on those key downs. You know, I've seen, you and I both been to practices where we've seen, hey, 3rd down.
And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. Well, Prescott here to throw. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. Need something from deep in the bag of tricks here after 1st and 2nd down. Went backwards. It's 3rd and very long. And he'll give it here to his running back. And he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Now here's a whistle and a timeout. It's called by the receiving team here. It'll be their 3rd and final timeout, so as they talk things over, we'll step aside. And now the punter, Tress Way, as he sends this one away. Fair catch called for right around the 11-yard line. Officially, that'll be marked down as just a 28-yard punt. And the Raiders will take over now 1st and 10. We saw a number of good games earlier today. This one might top all of those. It's been a dandy as we come up on 1st and 10. Back to throw. Throwing right, and that's complete. And he's brought down, but not before they get it across the 20-yard line. Give him 12 yards that time and an Oakland 1st down. Obviously a big first down right there.
Yeah, they still got to hustle. They got to get up to the line of scrimmage and get set. But I don't think necessarily you need to spike it, but they've got to continue to move quickly.
Flushed out right. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far. It's second down. He was unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark, really, start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is he just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down. The Raiders on third down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This is 3rd and 10. He's back to throw. And, a crusher there as it's intercepted. Picked off near the 32. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27. So the first interception of his career under center, and you knew it was going to happen sooner or later.
It has to. And I know he feels like the world is just tumbling down at this moment, but there's got to be some veteran somewhere, some mentor that's going to tell him, hang in there, my man. Plenty more to come. Keep firing.
They go down to a knee and a sigh of relief as they are into the win column for the first time this year.